Hi, welcome to Module 1 of my 6-part series. I'm really glad to talk to you today about happiness and changing your state because for me, I firmly believe that happiness and the manifestation of it and the source of it are things where people get the most messed up in life. It certainly was the case with me. In my situation, I was married ultimately with 5 kids. I felt a sense of unhappiness for a very long time. In fact, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy for me because as I continued to try to progress in my relationship and the business that I was running, I was always telling myself how unhappy I was, and I blamed her, I blamed the circumstances, and this led to me making some very poor choices. In fact, choices that are really a cliche in the sense that they were really middle-age crisis kinds of things. You know, today we live in a world with technology where we can connect with someone across the country that we went to high school with. Maybe it's, in my case, it was the girl that didn't give me a lot of attention in high school, but ultimately did as an adult, and it gave me a lot of the validation that I was hungering for. And so, especially as I began to increase my involvement with that person, I began to tell myself more and more how unhappy I was in my marriage. And of course that came out in the behaviors that I emoted with her. It came out in the lack of attention that I gave my business, which caused it to get worse and worse. And really created a major train wreck of my life. And it wasn't until I really went through the divorce process, worked with Tony Robbins on a television show called Breakthrough with Tony Robbins, and really saw myself in a different light. It's an unusual experience, and to watch yourself on a TV program trying to justify why you're finding everything in your life being in the hands of someone else instead of yourself. I was making a lot of excuses about happiness. And when I finally got real about where happiness should come from, meaning myself, inside myself, that's when I really began to make changes that would affect my level of happiness. And today, I can say that I've come out the other side of having gone through that. I'm in a happy marriage today, happy because I choose to make myself happy. Even when things are challenging, I can change my perspective about how I look at that. And I would encourage you to do the same. It's time to start really taking a look at the way you evaluate what's going on in your life. Tony Robbins calls it changing your state. And the first thing that you need to do is change what you focus on. You know, it's an age-old thing that if we focus on negative things, we start to see more and more negative things. If we focus on positive things, we see more and more positive things. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is start looking at what's positive in your life, positive in your relationship with your wife, positive in your business, and even view the negative things as challenges to overcome, things to work on together, instead of just negative, bad, this doesn't feel good kinds of things. Changing your state begins on what kind of focus you're taking and what you're focusing on. The second thing is the words and meanings that you give these things that you're focusing on. It's very important. You know, what people tend to do when they feel unhappy is they tend to exaggerate all of the negative things and minimize the things that aren't that are great rather. And we even begin to use words that have more emotionally charged connotation. You know, she doesn't understand me. She's we might call her names. We might describe the situation in such a way that paints a picture that's darker than what it really is. So it's very important what words you use when you communicate with people, when you are in your own head and your thoughts, and then also look at what kind of meanings we attach to things. You know, maybe if someone is treating you in a way that isn't a very nice way, it's because they are going through something you don't know about. So I encourage you to look for the real meaning. And the last thing is, you've got to get yourself physically ready to feel good, to feel happy, to feel connected. You know, with your wife, it's touching her, it's hugging her, it's expressions, physical expression of love. It's not withholding yourself when maybe you feel, you know, you've had your feelings hurt, or you're angry. You know, reach out and connect. It's the physical standpoint of, you know, sitting up straight and putting a smile on your face and doing the things that really will help you change your emotional state. And if you get in the habit of doing that and practicing doing that, and I encourage you to do that, then what will happen is your life around you will start to reflect that energy, that happiness, that awareness, that life. And that's where happiness really springs from. And it's all created within yourself. So take the bull by the horns, if you will, and your assignment on this module is to start practicing looking for positive focus. When you see something that you perceived as negative, look for the positive in that. Use different words, use action words, use positive words. And lastly, change your physical state into something that's positive for yourself. All right? Thanks again, and we'll see you in Module 2.